Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Conversations with leading experts in business. And today I have the most incredible guest, Dr. Marina Bruni. Marina is a Global Brain Activation Strategist, and our topic today is how thoughts become things. Marina, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you very much for inviting me, for having me here. I'm very excited and very much look forward to this conversation with you.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you too, Marina. Before I get started, I just need to make a legal disclaimer that Marina is not offering legal advice or legal assistance. So let's get started with the show. Marina, can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself, your business, and what you do?
Absolutely, with pleasure. So I am a Global Brain Activation Strategist, which means that I teach my students, my trainees, how to integrate left brain and right brain strategies so they can always make the right choice with ease, so stress-free, and so they can raise their frequencies, their vibrational frequencies. Now, how I came to do what I do, I think it's an interesting story because my background is a bit different to the majority of personal development experts. Because I've got my background comes from corporate. I'm a lawyer by trade, and I've been a lawyer in financial services for 20 years. So coming from a family where, let's say, the academical studies and the rationality have always been occupying a first place. So in a way, I've always been using my brain and the skills of my mind in a way that were always on top of the scale, but very much into what's kind of traditional way of thinking. And that worked well for me up to a certain point. Of course, you get into that race. I got into that race and climbing the corporate ladder and doing all that stuff. And I've learned a lot of things, and I've also experienced a lot of stress. Very, very fast-paced job and high demanding. And of course, if you're not equipped with other skills, resilience, and coherence that you build up only if you do a certain type of journey, a certain type of inner work, there's no way that you can build up. So the catalyst event for me was that at some point my body broke down, and my immune system got completely shot because of the demand I was putting on myself. Very, very little sleep, always on projects and deadlines. And so really, my immune system got down. And that was the point where I started asking myself, okay, what is going on here? Why is this happening? And I started my own personal discovery journey and started studying a lot of things and started getting into meditation. And I started and I started discovering what is called neuroscience and neuroplasticity, and I found those really fascinating. So I get more and more and more into that. And I started developing my own method, first of all, to get better myself. Because at that point, when I was that was the beginning of my journey. So my goal at that point was not really building up a business, but was getting well myself, and so that I could get back to thriving back up again. And so I started doing all these new practices, and I saw that they were working. So I got back in my own power. I got back control into my life. And I was starting sharing everything with the people around me, and even at work. And everybody was saying, "That's awesome. That's fantastic. And it works. You should start a business." And I was like, "Really? Do you think so?" And I said, "Yes, of course, absolutely." And so that got me thinking. And of course, I deepened more and more my knowledge. And I keep studying every day, because you need to keep yourself up to speed. But that was the first, the seed that got me thinking, okay, then I can really make a difference. They can really do something good for other people. Okay, I'm up for the challenge, and I'm willing to do that, because there is so much need of this in the world, because the potential that we use, our brain potential, our mind potential, that we don't use all of it. And most of the time, I've noticed in my experience, and I've noticed with my own students, is that they cut out a big part of it, a big part of all their potential, their skills, because of their own limiting beliefs, and because of the program they've been running through into your unconscious mind. Because most of it, that's also a big part of it. And so fast forward, I now help private and corporate with my method, and I help them to integrate all their potential, so that they can design the outcome that they want, so they can make the right choice. And when I say the right choice, is the right choice for them in that given moment, without any stress, with ease indeed. And a consequence of that is also that their vibrational frequencies start raising up. And that's also one of the basic things in order for ourselves, individual, to create our own reality.
Marina, I resonate with a lot what you've been talking about. Stress can really, really, really hold people back. And also all the things you have studied to do with neuroscience, neuroplasticity. I am so into this subject. I've watched hours and hours of documentaries on YouTube, and it's so true. We only use such a small part of our mind, and we can tap into those bigger parts of the mind. And there's so much programming in our subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is ruling the show. So if we can plant good things into our subconscious, it can rapidly increase the results that we're transforming in our lives. So can you talk about the subconscious mind a little bit? Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Mark. And what you said is so right. Yeah, because the thing is, as you said, the subconscious mind is what runs the show. And most of the time, the subconscious mind is on the driving seat because we let it to be in the driving seat. For example, and I'd like to ask this to our listeners today. How many times you go on automatic pilot? When I say automatic pilot, I mean you do your own thing, your routine, without even without putting the attention, without even realizing that you're doing it, and often thinking to something else. For example, let's say when you go to work, when you in your commuting to work to your office, how many times has happened to you that you leave your house at some point, you maybe you don't even remember whether you've locked the door, and by magic you find yourself at your desk, but you don't really remember what you did during the commuting or your journey to the office. Or, for example, I don't know, in your morning routine while you're washing your teeth and you get ready, you do that without even thinking. Maybe your thoughts are about something else. You are on another world, on another dimension. That's what I call automatic pilot, and that's when that's very apparent when your subconscious mind is on the driving seat, because you are not present, you are not intentional in what you do. So the intention is really key here, because if I am intentional in what I'm doing, it means that I am present right here, right now. Mark, right here, right now, I'm talking with you, to your listeners, to our listeners today, and I'm fully present with my intention in my body and spirit. So my subconscious mind and my conscious mind, are totally coherent or aligned, like some people prefer to say. I prefer the word coherence. So subconscious and conscious mind are coherent. But for example, if I were here just talking about, without putting any meaning, without being present with every word and my energy and my soul and what I'm saying to you and to our listeners right now, that would mean that my subconscious mind will be running the show. Now, when your subconscious mind runs the show, you sometimes, as I said, when you go on automatic pilot, you are not in control, you are not in your power. Now, when I use the word control here, I want to clear this out, because I don't want any confusion here. When I say the word control here, I don't mean that everything needs to be under my control. Control doesn't equal someone who's control freak. It's not that type of control. It's more similar. It's mastery. In this case, the meaning of the word control equals mastery, because when I get to master myself, my potential, my skills, my ability, my mind, my emotions, my heart, my gut feelings, my body, mind, and soul connection, I don't have to be in control of every single tiny bit, because we are supposed to go with the flow. But in order to do that smoothly, we need to become masters of ourselves. And in order to do that, we have to be intentional.
Beautifully said, Marina. And I would like to add to that a little bit of what that means to me. Being totally in the present moment, not worrying about what's happened in the past, not focusing too far in the future. Though it's great to have goals and a vision, it's great to just be totally in the present moment, connected to your inner being, connected to source. And if you can get to that place using personal development and great self-talk, motivation, watching personal development, working on your mind. I also use self-hypnosis, which works really, really well for me. When you start getting really into the present moment, slowly your life starts to transform and situations and circumstances start to really positively move forwards. And then when negative things do happen, when you're totally in the present moment, you handle negative situations so much better. So that is my take on it, Marina. I do hope you agree with me.
Absolutely, Mark, absolutely. And I'd like to add something that you said that when you do that, then slowly things start to change. Yes, but sometimes sometimes that happens. That happens really even fast. So it depends on what and the situation and how far also you are in your journey. I mean, I've experienced things that really change like in a flash, like this.
I agree totally.
Yeah, so the important thing is, as you said, focusing on the present moment, because I'm right here, right now. This is my time, and I'm creating my own reality right here and right now.
Beautifully said. I think when I said slowly, I was more meaning it takes a while to be able to control your thoughts. It's taken me quite a lot of self-improvement and personal development, but as you do become more present and you have done the inner work, things do start to happen very fast as well. So I agree with you totally there, Marina. Now I would like to ask Dr. Marina, can you share what kind of clients do you serve? Who do you help?
Yes, absolutely. I work with private and corporates, helping them to get to the next level. I mean, most of the time, my student, my mentee, start because we are human beings, so there's usually an event, a catalytic event that triggers all these thoughts and journeys and etc. So usually they are stressed out, or they want to achieve more, but they feel that there's something that blocks them, or they're confused and they seem to make the wrong choice of the time, or they keep on second guessing themselves. So It's a variety of typology, but basically I work with individual and corporate executives, professionals who wants to get to the next level, who wants to be able to design their own outcome in business, in life, in every single situation, and want to live their dream, want to design their outcome and implement it exactly as they want it. And yes, and working with them, it's been, I mean, when they do the change, is when you notice that the change is happening, it's such a reward, definitely. And that's where, once they've got that to that turning point, they also notice their vibrational frequencies going up. And the way they notice that is because it gets easier to them making the right choice. So it's all about practice, yeah. But yeah, to answer to your question, private and corporate clients, business executives, professionals, yeah.
Well, Marina, practice makes perfect, and I can imagine that's very, very rewarding. I would like to ask, can you just share a little detail of the kinds of products and services you offer?
Yes, with pleasure. I work in person and online remotely via Zoom, because a number of clients are around the world, but even for the local ones, sometimes for them it's better, it's more efficient working online. And of course, with companies, I go on site, and there could be daily training or specific lectures, or working on specific situation, giving them support on site. And also, you are based in UK, so you know that nowadays in the UK there is a lot of emphasis on mental health and well-being. Yes. And companies, and this is a great thing, because it really can change lives and the working situation for both companies and employees. So this is something really amazing that is happening in the UK. So I'm also involved in that. So I support companies and their employees in order to improve the quality of their working life, and of course the mental quality. And it was interesting, because like 10 days ago, reference at the moment of where we are doing this interview, I delivered a lecture in a big multinational company, American company here in London, just outside London. And it was a whole division of that company. And they were so engaged. They were really engaged, and they were asking all these questions. They were really hungry about knowing how to do it, knowing what that means. And that was so rewarding. And also, but the important thing, the message that I want to give, that I gave them, and I want to give to everybody, yes, knowledge is important, but implementation is even more important. I remember that up to a few years ago, there was a sort of quote going around that say, knowledge or information is power. Of course, knowledge is important, but knowledge per se doesn't make any difference. I mean, if I read 40 books in a month, does that make a difference into my life or into my business? No, unless I implement that knowledge, that information that I've learned in the book. So knowledge, the way I intend knowledge is is implementation. It has to go through experience. So, and that was my message to them. Yes, all these are all good questions, but I would like to see you implementing. I would say, well, I would like all these that I've talked to you, but I said to them, at least one or two strategies that I've taught you today, because only by doing that, you will make a difference into your life, your business, your situation.
I just love what you're doing. I'm resonating on so many different levels. I know the satisfaction you must get from your work, because myself, I speak at mental health conferences too. And recently, in the next month, I've been booked to speak for Her Majesty's Prison on drug awareness and mental health. And I know when I'm speaking to people who need support with mental health, that is so satisfying, because you really know you're changing people's lives and really helping them with strategies, proven methods that can help them improve their lives. So I really respect the work you're doing, Marina. Now, I want to speak all about the new film, How Thoughts Become Things, created by Douglas Vermeeren. Can you share in your words, Marina, what is this film about?
Absolutely, with pleasure. I mean, this film is simply amazing. It's I have a lot of respect for Douglas. He's put together incredibly high level, top level expert into this movie, and the mission of that he's imprinting with, and is spreading, he's sharing via this movie is amazing, because this is the core of everything. How thoughts become things. Yes, because everything starts into our mind. But then how then things and all that is starting in our mind gets out of our mind and in our reality, in our external reality, if that's what happened. So it's how our thought process can create and influence our reality. And now we can influence our thought process. And it's much more than that. It's this is a project, and probably you and I spoke briefly about this. This is a project that is really close to my heart, because people like you and me have experienced that in firsthand. The way you think really makes a difference, not just in your inner world, but in your outer world. And why is that? That's because your outer world, it's a reflection of your inner world. At the beginning of this conversation, I said at some point the word coherence. It's all about coherence. Inner world and outer world are always coherent. So there is always this connection, this coherence between what happens inside us and what happens outside us. And if you change your inner world, your outer world will change accordingly.
Marina, I loved the word reflection in that conversation. Mirrors. It's mirroring back to us what our thoughts are inside. That is beautifully said. And I think you have just answered my next question, but I'm still going to ask you it. My next question is, in a few sentences, can you share in your words how thoughts become things?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, just as I said, it's about coherence. If you are able to create brain coherence and heart coherence, when you are able to do that, that's the secret. And sorry, the pun is not intended. It just came out of my mind like this, or my mouth like that. And yes, and I hope you guys, I mean, our listeners will all come to watch the movie, because it's not just a movie. It's an experience. You need to be there. You need to be experiencing all that with us and with other viewers, because it's also about the energy that is creating. Yes, and that's another key word, energy. So yeah, I hope to see as many people as possible at the screenings.
Yes, I agree with you totally, Marina. I think everyone coming along to this screening, what a tribe it's going to be. All people on the same frequency, same energy, interested in the same kind of things. The energy is going to be incredible at these screenings. I know they're happening in many different locations. It's coming to London very, very soon, and I'm going to be there. I'm so excited. The thought leaders in this movie are world-class thought leaders. You can learn something from any one that you want, because there will be someone in this movie that you resonate with. So in a few sentences, Marina, why should people attend the screening, or at the bare minimum, why should people watch this movie?
Because this movie can change your life if you
Yes.
are open, to it, if you let that sort of if you let your guard down just a little bit, but even if you're just open to the possibility that there might be another option out there to the one that I'm living right now, to the one I am right now. Only if you give that option the chance to tell yourself what that option could be, how it could look like. What if? So that's why everybody should watch this movie and should come to one of the screenings, because there with all the experts, these expert thought leader that will be there, the experience will be magnified even more. And I'd like to add something to what you said about learning. There's always something to learn from all of them. That's absolutely true, absolutely. And sometimes I've seen people say, "Oh well, but I know everything about that subject. I don't need to watch any more videos. I don't need to read any more book. I just know all these kind of things." So that attitude is kind of it's a closed down attitude, Because if you change your perspective from, I know everything about that, I don't need anything else, I don't need any more of that, to, okay, I know quite a few things about that, but let me see how I can incorporate also these other things. Let me see whether there is another aspect, or how can I apply this in a more effective way. But also another thing, learning is not just about the experts say. It's also about, and I will say most of all, about how they incarnate what they preach, how they embody what they teach, how they lead by example.
Marina, I have to agree with you strongly there, because even if you know something already, repetition is the key to your new reality. Repetition. The more you plant something in your mind, it's giving it that fertilized soil to grow and to expand into what you would like. So repetition is the key to success. Now, Marina, what is new for Dr. Marina? What are you working on right now? Because I know the movie must have taken lots of your time, but I would like to know what's going on in your world at the moment.
Yes, Mark, with pleasure. Well, first of all, the project How Thoughts Become Things is not finished yet. Yeah, the movie is about to be released, but there will be all the screenings around the world. So
Exciting.
so very much exciting, and I will be there supporting the project all the way through. So I will be very much involved in that, and I'm very grateful to have met Douglas and to have this opportunity to work with him and all these other amazing experts, Marie Diamond, Dr. Joe Vitale, Dr. Joe DeMartini, Bob Proctor, Joan Asraf, and everybody else. And then I'm working also on my own book. It's a book on the power of choice, which will be released later on this year. And also I am, of course, I keep working with my private and corporate students and trainees, because I don't want to leave them alone. But I'm also preparing a next step program for those who are ahead in the journey and are ready to work on how to raise even more your vibrational frequencies in a more conscious way. So yeah, very exciting.
Marina, I have thoroughly enjoyed a conversation with you, and I can't wait to see your feature on How Thoughts Become Things. I'm very, very excited about that. Can you share with our listeners, how can people connect with you? How can people reach out? How can people follow you?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much, Mark, for having me here, for your kind words. I've enjoyed very much this conversation with you, and feel free to invite me anytime. I will be always happy to come back here again.
I will take you up on that.
Absolutely. And of course, I look forward to meeting you in person at the London premiere of the movie How Thoughts Become Things.
Me too.
And people can reach me. The easiest way to get hold of me is going to my website, www.com, www.marinabruni.com, and they can either send me an email or book some time with me, and I'm always there to support and guide whoever needs me, either in person. I mean, if it's a company, I'm happy to go and see them on site, or we can work something remotely with a Zoom on a Skype connection.
Everyone, please reach out if Marina resonates with you. www.marinabruni.com. Marina, thank you for being my guest today, and I look forward to seeing you in London.
Thank you very much, Mark, and I look forward to seeing you in London too.
You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Conversations with leading experts in business.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.